One mic.
All I need is one mic.
It's just different.
One mic with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism. Maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One mic with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
What up? It is the One Mic with Big Mike show here live on Spreaker.com as well as the Spreaker app. I'm also on TuneIn and of course the website onemicwithbigmike.com here on this
Hump Day.
Hump Day. We're going to get on over the rest of this hump for you, or hope you got over the hump today. We got 2 more days to the weekend. If you don't get a chance to stick around for the entire show, just remember you can hear each and every episode of the show on demand on all 4 of the outlets I've already mentioned, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. I got a live stream going on right now on Facebook, so go head on over to my Facebook page if you so desire. It is One Mic with Big Mike, www.facebook.com/1MICWITHBIGMIKE. Also, you guys can get involved in the show. All you got to do is text me at 404-902-8104 or just leave your comments below the live streaming video here on Facebook. Or you can jump on in my live interactive chat room. You do so by first heading on over to Spreaker or the Spreaker app or my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. And make sure you sign up for your free Spreaker account. It is absolutely free. It's just like signing up for Twitter or Facebook or Snapchat or any of those things. And once you do that, search for One Mic with Big Mike. Follow me on that joint. And then you'll see a little thought bubble icon on the streaming player. Just click on that. You'll be live and direct inside the chat room like the homie I am no Dose is. What up, homie? Get on in here, talk some ish with us, have a little fun. It's Wednesday, man. This is one of those, this is the day every week, right? Ain't really a lot to talk about. Folks start making stuff up. As your man Donald Trump would call it, fake news. Actually, that's not what it is. It's not fake news. He's an idiot because fake news is not what he's describing when he talks about not agreeing with someone's news story. Fake news is like if I just put something out there on the internet that's absolutely not true, and I know it's not true, but I'm doing it because I know you're not going to research it and I'll get you to believe it. That's what fake news is. Absolutely fabricated things. Not the case here tonight or today. But there's some news, some questionable. Like, is this really a news story type thing? Maybe, you know what? That might be a new segment for the show. Is this really a news story? We're working on it. We're efforting it. It's in development. So as far as today's show goes, no guest today. I wasn't able to wrangle anybody up for this Hump Day episode of One Mic. But we will do, of course, on this day. We'll move on this day to its regular time when we don't have a guest at the bottom of the hour. Also, we'll talk got a little baseball stuff in the show today. Black folks being weird again. Y'all is such weirdos. And also I got this weird voicemail today on the show line, 404-902-8104. Yeah, you guys can leave voicemails there as well. Not just text messages, but I got a real weird one today. And before we get out of here, I want to play it for y'all and just kind of get your sensibilities about it or whatnot. And I want to tell you guys about this Black Panther documentary I watched last night. I was trying to do some work and happened to see something about the Black Panthers on public television, and I decided to check it out. And it's a bunch of stuff. Usually in these things, you've seen it a couple of times over, and it's been kind of repackaged. But I did get one thing out of this particular documentary that I want to share with you guys. We got some news out of the NCAA. Of course, the NFL stuff is popping off. Got playoffs coming this weekend. The conference championships? Yeah, conference championships this weekend. But as far as the headlines go, it's also Women Crush Wednesday. So you guys want to know who this week's Women Crush Wednesday is or what she looks like, you can head on over to the One Mic with Big Mike Facebook page and check that out. Her handle is at No, it's Lee, Lei __, 2 underscores. So KNOWITSLEI. She went on ahead and retweeted the stuff and then shouted us out. So I appreciate her for that. As far as today's headline goes, you guys, sports fans, you really let these people make a story out of this Antonio Brown thing. And it hit a nerve today because I didn't talk about it on Monday. I barely mentioned it, but it kind of hit a nerve over the last 2 days as to the things that transpired from it. And if you look at the name of this episode, it's called "I Ain't Sorry for Sugar Honey Iced Tea." Well, I'm not, but I'll tell you why certain people shouldn't be either. We're counting down to the prayers. It's almost over. I mean, it's pretty much over now, but it's almost officially over. I'm still, crossing my fingers that, at the inauguration on Friday, that, my man like pulls his face off like Mission Impossible, and the whole time it's like Bernie Sanders up under there like, ha, see? I knew you guys were idiots. You need me. And then it's really Bernie Sanders that's the president, but that's wishful thinking and me being a dreamer. But I want to talk about his little thing that he's been doing here in the last couple of weeks. Meeting with everybody at Trump Tower, a bunch of black folks running up through there. The latest, Martin Luther King the third. I'm about to say Martin Luther King Jr. the third. Martin Luther King the third. Kanye been up there. Steve Harvey been up there. Who else, man? What other Negro been up there messing with Trump? Did I say Kanye already? Oh, my man, Ray Lewis and freaking Jim Brown been up there. And like black folks is like going in on these cats, like on all these dudes going up there, because it looks like there's some ass kissing going on. Feel me? And I'm not even gonna front. It looks like some major ass kissing going on. And here's the other thing too. Like these people may be famous, but they private citizens. So what kind of secret meetings are they having with the president-elect? Like you can't come downstairs and when they start asking people like, what did you guys talk about? No, we're just gonna keep that between us. Wait, hold on. That sound hella suspicious. And the reason it kind of came back to mind today, I know I've talked about it before, but my man Jason put this on Facebook yesterday. And we wondered if Martin Luther King was still alive and Dr. King went to talk to Trump in this type of environment, would we kill him on social media the way people have done with Steve Harvey and Ray Lewis and these cats? And I was like, it's kind of different. And, I got my guys in the chat room. I am no Doze and Big L's up in here. What up, homie? You guys can answer this too. Like if Martin Luther King ran up in the White House, the Trump Tower, the same way as Steve Harvey and Kanye and these cats have done, like, would we have the same reaction? Like, man, look at Martin Luther King, man, for selling us out. You know what I mean? It feels like, to me, it feels like no. You know what I mean? Because people's track records, like if Martin Luther King is going up there, you can pretty much bet on why he's up there, like whose interest he has in mind when he's up there. If Steve Harvey's up there, I can only assume Steve Harvey has his own interest in mind. Same with Kanye and the rest of these fools. You know what I mean? Like my man, like Dr. King's son was trying to sell off all his properties, Bible and all that kind of stuff for some loot. They've been in court all this time for that. Well, for a long time for that. I have no reason to believe that anyone is up there, saying like, look, man, we got to do better by these black folks in this country. Nah, hell no, man. So I think, to me, it would be different. I don't think people would be crushing, Martin Luther King for that, because he got a track record, man. He got a track record of being for the people, not, for himself. Well, that's my spill on that. And I'll probably get some more into it a little bit later, because I got some stuff on this cat Jim Brown that's absolutely ridiculous. It's really stupid. The other thing for my baseball people, Hall of Fame names announced today. Rock Raines, Tim Raines, Jeff Bagwell, Ivan Pudge Rodriguez, they got in. As you can notice, you didn't hear me say Bonds, Clemens, or Schilling. They still ain't letting these dudes in, steroids or whatnot. No one, Mark McGwire admitted to it. Barry Bonds, we got some house arrest for it, but he never failed a test either. Kurt Schilling's just an a-hole. You know what I mean? I don't know that keeps you out because a lot of them dudes in the Baseball Hall of Fame are big, huge, gaping a-holes. So I don't know what that's all about. And then Tony La Russa, Bud Selig, all these dudes who fostered the steroid era, they ain't had no problem putting them in. So at this point, it's like whatever. You did it, you got away with it, run it. You can't be assuming somebody did something. Although we look at Barry Bonds. Like the thing that was so crazy about Barry Bonds' use when the trainers was like, yeah, man, like this dude, like every year we had to get this grown man. Get new shoe sizes and new head sizes for him because that HGH had his bones growing. Yeah, that's a problem. Like at some point, cuz you got to at least try to fool people. Now you hitting the ball like 900 feet and be like, nah, man, that's just natural talent. All right, man. It's cool, man. Got some poll results from the what's today? Today is Wednesday, from the Monday show. We got some poll results for you guys. I'll give them to you here as I scroll to find them. All right, here's one. Are you okay with your sports team going to the White House with Donald Trump after a championship win? Put it on the poll is brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com, by the way. 43% said yes and 57% said no. That's 100 ain't I am no though. I got the math right on that one, huh? 43 said yes and 57% said no. So most of you would be like, hell no. My team they better not take their ass to no White House. You know what I tried to do for you guys? I guess I can go ahead and talk about it now. I tried to get Craig Hodges on, and I almost sealed the deal. We even talked on the phone and everything because Craig Hodges, if you guys remember, went to the White House after the Bulls won and dropped a note off for the press. Like, look, black folks in this country getting treated like crap. You need to do more about it. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like that. And he subsequently got blackballed from the NBA. So, he's been ignoring my calls since then. I don't know why. And I'm going to still try to get him on because I really want to talk to him, especially on the back of, not on the direct back, but following my conversation with Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf and him going through the same thing with the whole national anthem situation. The climate is kind of shifted, with the NFL or whatever. With the NBA or whatever, to where they need to be more, publicly sensitive to people's beliefs. And back then it was like, oh, hell no, you ain't finna be bringing that militant crap around here. Gone from the league. Get your ass out of here. Career over. Real talk. So I'll make a more valiant effort in getting Craig Hodges on the show. Which quarterback? Hashtag put it on the poll. Which quarterback would you want taking your team down the field for a touchdown to win the game? 36% said Matt Ryan. 18% said Tom Brady. 45% said Aaron Rodgers. And none of you D-bags? Like, I think Ben got like 2 or 3 game winning drives this year. 0% said Ben Roethlisberger. God, man. Big dude ain't getting no love out here. And finally, if you had to choose one wide receiver, there's only 2 choices to get the ball to win the Super Bowl, who would you choose? Julio Jones, Antonio Brown. 58% of you said Julio Jones, and 42% said Antonio Brown. Again, Antonio Brown when we've seen him do that this year, we hadn't seen Julio Jones do it because he hadn't needed to. Falcons been whooping ass pretty decently throughout the season, except for the games, of course, they lost. But in most of the games the Falcons have played this year, they put some ass whoopings on some people that hadn't come down to final drives, and we'll see what happens this weekend in these conference championship games. Speaking of Antonio Brown, I got to talk to y'all, man. And it's been a while since I've done this, since I've had this conversation with y'all about, the way you get manipulated by the media. And they only do what they feel the consumers are going to consume. They only provide the things that they feel like consumers are going to consume. It's like McDonald's. McDonald's will try something new out on the menu, but if it don't rock, immediately it gets pulled like it was never there. And they'll only keep on providing the things that people are buying. So when this thing with Antonio Brown happens on Sunday, a man goes live on Facebook. By the way, I'm live right now. If you guys are listening and you want to see what's going on, which is really nothing, just me sitting here in front of a microphone, you can head on over to my Facebook page at the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE and check the kid out. So he goes live while Mike Tomlin is doing his thing. He's giving like the post game speech. He's talking about how, you know, they gave the Steelers a game and a day and a half head start on them, but they still gonna be ready, and this, that, and the other. And my man's getting the whole thing, like 17 minutes worth of it on Facebook Live. I think close to 1 million people were viewing this live. Now, instead of the NFL being like, oh, that's hot, like, they act like Mike Tomlin was like Antonio Brown was filming a murder by Mike Tomlin. And then goes back to something that I always say, man, that it doesn't seem like, as a black man, especially a black person in his position, in Mike Tomlin's position, he doesn't get to have a normal moment. Like, he always has to give that coach speak, like, you know, we're going to persevere and we're going to let our true grit shine through. And you just wait until you see the resolve of this team. And I don't have any doubt and all this kind of craziness. But then the one time he has a real emotional moment, you know, it just gives off a feel of like, oh, look at that N-word. And he knows it. Because then what he had to do? Turn his ass right back around and start apologizing to people. Sorry, something's going on with my computer here with my mouse here. Yeah, turn around and start apologizing to people. For what? Because you said some cuss words? I said this to you guys on Monday. Like, if you let these cats get too close to these damn these boom mics out there, yeah, you're going to hear a whole lot worse stuff than what Mike Tomlin said. Please, man. But Rex Ryan, they put Rex Ryan front and center in front of everything. And he ain't got nothing but the potty mouth, but the fool mouth. And he can't coach. So on top of all of that, homie can't even do the job well, but he gets held to a lower standard than this cat that's already won him a championship and is going for another one this year. Here's what Mike Tomlin had to say. When you get to this point, quote, when you get to this point in the journey, not a lot of things to be said. Let's say very, very little moving forward. Let's start our preparations. We spotted those a-holes a day and a half. They played yesterday. Our game got moved to tonight. We got a touchdown at 4:00 in the effing morning. So be it. We'll be ready for the A's, for the ass. Why did I say A's? I say ass all the time on this show. But you ain't got to tell them we coming. The chest pounding, keep a low profile. And I think that's the part that people count. That's one of the parts that people got they panties in a bunch about. Because as he's saying, it's a funny part to me. As he's saying, keep a low profile, my man is like, yeah, look what we just did. It's going digital, Facebook Live. He got his man like fixing his hair and all this kind of stuff. And look, it's funny, man. It ain't like they people in the media, and I always talk about not being able to be the author of your story, or rewind that. The people who are the authors of these guys' stories have very, very little to do with them, have very little in common with them. So when Mike Tomlin's saying that, and when Antonio Brown is doing what he's doing, everybody gets all up in a roar. Oh, look how disrespectful that is. Look, if you look at the video, and I didn't even see the whole thing, just the parts they showed on TV. There's like another dude in there on his phone and doing something else. Other cast is like, you know, showing off for the camera and all this kind of stuff, which tells me that's not an abnormal situation for them. They not in high school no more, where like everybody's gathered around the coach and everybody's taking a knee with their helmet under one arm. These are grown men. Mike Tomlin is a grown man. If they not giving him their whole attention while he's, you know, hyped for, because you can hear him, he's hyped from the win too. It's just news for the sake of news, and it's not even worth it. And then it ends up turning into this thing where the kid, or where Antonio Brown is like he's vilified or he's criminalized for doing what? Oh, it's just this, it's the sacred place and all this foolishness, man. Come on, you gotta miss me with that. Like, you can't always like go to that sacred place type thing every time. Like somebody saw something or somebody heard something that they've never heard before. It's ridiculous, man. Antonio Brown, he came back and apologized to it. I hate this, man. And it's only really to get these white folks off his back. If I'm gonna say it bluntly, that's the only reason you do that, to get them white folks off your back. And as he kept saying, move on. Here's his apology. Quote, I let my emotions and genuine excitement get the best of me, and I wanted to share that moment with our fans. It was wrong for me to do. against team and NFL policy, and I have apologized to Coach Tomlin and my teammates for my actions. I'm sorry for them. I'm sorry to them for letting it become a distraction. There's that word. And something that they've had to answer questions about while we're preparing for a big game on Sunday, end quote. Here's one of my theories on this whole, like, this distraction thing and all this kind of foolishness. It has to be developed and had to come from people who've always written. You know, and I'm not the dude that says, you don't know what's going on, you never played. I'm not really that guy. But what I am is a realist, and I believe that when people have only written about it, they find themselves creating narratives, creating things like distraction. And you guys have heard me talk to NFL players on this show, former NFL players that said what? I'm out here to do my job. Like, nah, I don't want to answer questions about it, but it's not going to keep me from doing my gig on Sunday. That's just one of those creations. And what happens is the people who watch the sport end up ingesting that and then regurgitating it like it's an actual thing, and then it perpetuates. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It just keeps on building on itself. And at some point, man, like, y'all gotta be smarter football fans and smarter sports fans than that. Y'all gotta be better than that, and just understand when somebody's trying to, like, okie dokie because they don't have no other material. You know what I mean? There's really nothing to get excited about this offseason. There are no big stories. You got 4 awesome quarterbacks about to play in the championship weekend. That's all to me that needs to be said and done about these games. You don't hear me going on and on about, well, I think if Pittsburgh can get pressure on Tom Brady and if he's able to do this and that, because I don't know what they're doing in their meeting rooms. I don't know. And you see these people get paraded on television back to back as though they know. Well, we got former Patriot Teddy Bruschi is going to tell us exactly what Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are thinking. He don't know a damn thing. You know what I mean? You know, they think it's these people are there to fool you. Well, that guy played for Bill Belichick. He knows exactly what he's thinking. If it was that damn easy, you know what I mean? If it was just that easy, I don't know. But y'all gotta quit that, man. Apparently my mouse battery has died. That's foul. I gotta use a little scrubbing pad here. This is the One Mic with Big Mike show here on the Hump Day. Being heard live, Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app, tune in, and of course, One Mic with Big Mike.com. You can also hear the show on demand on all 4 of those outlets, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. You can also see me streaming live video right now on Facebook. Just head on over to my Facebook page. And while you're there, make sure you like that situation. I'm screaming towards 500 right now. I don't know if that's a good number or not, but it just seems good when you started from 0. So it just seems like a good, decent number. So I'm screaming towards 500. So tell a friend to like the One Mic with Big Mike Facebook page. You can also text the show at 404-902-8104. And you can jump inside this live interactive chat room. These cats in here talking about MLK and Barry Bonds. MLK going in there for some reason not to tell jokes and not talk. Exactly. Big L's talk about what I mentioned earlier in the show about these black celebrities, I guess is what you want to call them, black celebrities catching hell on social media and from people in the community about them running up on Donald Trump, you know, and like the only thing Steve Harvey had to say is, when the president-elect calls, you come a-running. What? That ain't what like a million other stars said. Yeah, can you come perform at my inauguration? Hell no. Jennifer Holliday said yeah. And then she said no. You guys are some douchebags too, man, by the way, for that. Like Miss Dream Girls herself. I saw that broad on TV talking about how black folks was getting all in her stuff about saying that she'd perform. She's like, I'm an artist, man. It's what I do. I did it for I think she said she did it for Bush or Reagan or somebody before now. It's like, we at the point now, dude. It's like Donald Trump is a pariah of presidents. Anyone who chooses to have something to do with him, especially if you black, dead. Dead. That dude's approval rating is 40%, by the way. And I saw this yesterday, and I don't really know all about what that means, but when they showed a graph of him being pre-inauguration, and his approval rating being at 40%, being so far last, record low. It's like, come on, you like folks can't have. This ain't one of them things you can have buyer's remorse about. You know, crooked Hillary and she's a murderer and all this kind of craziness. And then you put a wacko who don't want the job. He only wanted to win. That's why he keeps on talking about it. That's why he keeps talking about, well, I mean, I won. In case you forgot, I won the election. All right, dude, what you gonna do, man? You already took like millions and millions of people's health care away. That's already about to happen. So they're going to be pissed because they dumbasses ain't realized they had Obamacare. They thought they had the Affordable Care Act, which is, as we all know, same damn thing. I don't want no damn Obamacare. Just give me that damn Affordable Care Act. All right, Jim Bob, you got it. You got it, my man. What else happened in the world of you know what I didn't really get into on Monday? This developmental league thing. I mentioned it to Ben Troop, and we talked about it real quick, but I did not actually, I don't feel like I did a good enough job of kind of spelling it out for you guys of what's happening with this developmental league. A couple of people, Mike Pereira, you guys know Mike Pereira from Fox, Ed McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey's dad. If you're young enough, if you're old enough, you know Easy Ed from the Denver Broncos. Don Yee, who is Tom Brady's agent, and some other people, some other big-time NFL people are starting another league, or not even another league, like an alternative league for people who are 18 or 21. They can't or don't want to go to college, where they can get coached up. It's going to be like a 14 league out in California. They can be coached up. They can also be developed and paid, by the way. They're looking at across the board salaries of $50,000. So people ain't gonna have to worry about getting kicked out of school or suspended from the team if they get a little extra money to help out, moms and pops back at the crib, trying to send back a little stipend money to help their mom out while they starve, at school or whatever. They said they don't intend to compete with the NCAA. I already mentioned Ed McCaffrey is one of the co-founders. And I'm trying to I got some people who know Ed McCaffrey, so maybe I can, get some relationship things to fall in place and get him on the show, because I think this is very interesting. I know it's going to be hard because his son is about to go to the draft, and then he can't necessarily come on the show and expect me not to ask him about his son and the decision to leave and all these kind of things. So that's going to be a sticking point, but I'll see if I can work it out. So here's the layout of it before I go to break here. 4 teams based in Southern California playing an 8-game schedule on Sundays during the sport's dead zone of July and August. So you'll still have football in the summer for those of you who don't really rock with the baseball situation like me. So we're talking roughly 50 players per team, making an average salary and benefits, by the way, of $50,000 per year, which they'd be free to supplement with endorsements. That's, to me, that's the big part. Like, if you got a big enough name and you got somebody that can start to as they say, build your brand, this league is all about, they're everything the NCAA isn't. You know what I mean? And could be. They make the point that every other major sport has a minor league. Baseball, hockey, even basketball has the D League. You can even go overseas and play basketball if you don't want to go to college. Things are available for kids, but not for football. If you don't go to college, you don't go to the pros in football, and that's like really un-American, to be honest with you. It's going to be called PAC Pro. I think that's short for Pacific Professional League, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's a wonderful concept. I would love to see it materialize and see how they get enough players that aren't caught up in the mystique and in the pride that people try to sell them on playing college football. I would love to see how this works, because every year you name a few guys. That kid got kicked out of Florida State a couple years ago was Dorial Green Beckham. But for the most part, just like what happened at Oklahoma, you got a good guy, a good player, and he gets in trouble, you find a way to keep him. Like Bob, that dude punched that girl in her jaw and broke her jaw, and everybody else across the country was hollering out, kick him off the team, get rid of him, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, he's still there. Joe Mixon was still there, and he's going to be in the NFL next year too. Please believe that, because look, man, in reality, talent wins out, and talent will buy you a lot of leeway when it comes to things like that. So if you're looking for those kids, to be the kids to fill this league up, 50 teams, 50 players times 200 players, that might be a little bit of a, of a bumpy ride, but I'll be definitely one of the people who be, supportive of seeing that coming, seeing kids actually get paid for their labor. Oh my God, that can't be a thing, can it? Anyway, we come back. We got on this day on the other side of a break, and I want to move on and start talking. I want to wrap up some of this NFL talk and move on into, the situation at Oregon and how hard it is, man. It's hard. When you the first, your ass better be perfect. This is the One Mike with Big Mike show.
Well, I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mike with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mike with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemikewithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape?
You mean the one in my mouth?
You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel? Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
And now, back to One Mike.
What are we waiting for? Let's get to it.
With Big Mike.
Hey. La, 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 la. Welcome back to the One Mike with Big Mike show. We up in here, man.
Hump Day.
On a hump day, getting on over this hump. It's also a Woman Crush Wednesday. Shout out to... I gotta find the name. Shout out to Know It's LEI __. She is today's Woman Crush Wednesday. Don't forget I'm being heard right now on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, and of course, onemikewithbigmike.com. Had some technical issues, man, that I really believe. I don't believe. I know it was my fault. I was looking at my numbers, and I was like, damn, my numbers is low. People just not checking out the show no more. They hate me. What's going on? My self-esteem started getting rocked. You know what I mean? Here's the thing. I was actually posting my show in the wrong place, and y'all weren't seeing it. So I had to get the Spreaker people help me get that rectified, so everything is back up and everything is available on demand on all 4 outlets I've already mentioned, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, of course, YouTube as well. And I'll check out the Facebook Live video going on right now on the good old Facebook page at One Mike with Big Mike. Let's hit this chat room up before I go to On This Day. Big L saying, did Bonds get a positive test in baseball for steroids? Nah, he didn't. He just went to court, and he got the house arrest situation out of that. I forget why it was. They found him guilty on something, obstruction of justice, I believe it was, because he was on some, whatever that cream was. I didn't know what it was. They told me it was vitamin B and bliggity blah blah. I mean, he took the roids, whatever. He took the roids, but or the PEDs or whatever. That's not in question. But who cares? Like you heard me talking to my man Will Leach on Monday about that. I don't care. You know what I mean? I care in the sense where of Barry Bonds, because like he went overboard. I think every sports fan got to admit, like, damn, bruh, like how far do you need to hit the home run before you realize it's a home run, my man? I think at one point that dude had more home runs and walks than he had hits at one point during that whole home run chase thing. Big L also says, college paying more than $50K under the table. You're ridiculous, homeboy. You're ridiculous. Not for everybody on the team. This is for everybody on the team. All 50 players on each team get a minimum of $50,000 plus. There's no risk in getting in trouble for it, and then also you can get endorsement deals. So there's still even if that was true, what you're saying, there's still more positives than negatives as far as the financial side of things. Let's take a look back, man.
Now, let's take a look back. On this day.
All right. I guess the mouse ain't dead. On this day in 1886, the Hockey Association was formed in England. The date is the birthday of modern-day field hockey. If you guys want to know something crazy about former slaves inventing hockey, there's a book called Black Ice out there that actually talks about former runaway slaves being the ones who actually invented the sport of hockey. How you love that? Yep. But the Canadian Hockey Hall of Fame, they won't give them credit for it. Surprisingly, right? What? No way. Yes way. On this day in 1951, the NFL rules that tackles, guards, and centers are now ineligible for forward passes. You imagine that? Imagine like freaking what's my man's name? What's the big kid's name? Tyron Smith. You see Tyron Smith ass out there running the damn out route on the Cowboys. Like Alex Mack running a button hook in the middle of the field. That was probably a weird time in football because I think they had just actually invented the forward pass or the forward pass had just come to be. On this day in 1973, the Boston Red Sox signed Orlando Cepeda as the very first designated hitter. For whatever reason, the National League still playing games. They still want freaking pitchers to hit. That's like, you know what? That's like me wanting Dwight Howard to shoot threes. No, it's not what he do. Let Dwight Howard stay on the block and block shots and get rebounds and all that. I don't want that. By the way, did y'all see about that? The Hawks. I was telling these dudes the other day, man, the Hawks are trying to ease it on in there because they know it's gonna hurt with these fans and start this tank movement. Yeah, Paul Millsap was on the table earlier this year. Dwight Howard was on the table. Apparently, they're overvaluing their assets and people aren't giving them what they want back for them. And that's the only reason Cats are still here. They're going to find out. On this day in 1983, the International Olympic Committee restores Jim Thorpe's Olympic medals 70 years after they were taken from him for being paid $25 in semi-pro baseball. It took them 70 years to get that right. One of the most crooked organizations in ever. It took them 70 years to figure that out. On this day in 1996, the baseball owners unanimously approved interleague play in 1997. What they should have done when they was doing that was saying, all right, pitchers, just worry about your curveball and your slider. You don't worry about getting no hits no more, helping yourself, as they call it. You don't worry about that. Same way I ain't got to worry about Tom Brady. Here's the other thing that, you know what, I think kind of gets softened by Antonio Brown's video situation. The fact that Roger Goodell is still not going to take his ass to Foxborough. He was in Atlanta last week now. Him and Future and Bow Wow was hanging out last week. All three of Sierra's ex-boyfriends. He was here last week for what could have been the final game in the Dome. But now he's going to use that this is actually the final game in the Georgia Dome as an excuse not to go to Foxborough. Like, I know I live in Atlanta, and this may sound like sacrilege, but I also do a sports talk show. I so want the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. So my man has to present Robert Kraft and Belichick and Tom Brady this damn trophy. And just that awkwardness would be all I needed. That weirdness between these three powerful and rich white men. You know what I mean? Oh, I just love it so much. The other thing that happens every offseason, also, the issue of the Washington Redskins mascot and name has arisen again. This time in a different form, not necessarily directly with them, but there's another case that's going to be heard tomorrow. I think a band an Asian band wants to call themselves. This sounds like so much idiocy and stupidity. And they want to call themselves the Slants. An Asian band wants to call themselves the Slants. It sounds like a joke, but it's real. So tomorrow, the Supreme Court is going to hear this case, and the case is on the United States Patent and Trademark Office's application of a section of the Lanham Act. The section deals with the registration of terms that, quote unquote, may disparage people's groups. Like, that's kind of like, I don't know if Redskins is a derogatory term. Like the N-word is considered. I don't know. I've never heard anyone being called an N-word. I've never heard anyone get mad and like that was the word that came out. It's like a bunch of other words I've heard people call Native people, but never that. I just know, I've always known it. And like, I'm not a good like barometer of guys. Of all the things I don't know about, yeah, this just goes into that huge pile. But it just always seems like there's a lot more, there's a lot less to this than I think, or a lot more to this than I think maybe should be. Because like, we got, these people are in North Dakota or wherever they at fighting over this pipeline. Like, that's a real issue. But like, when you got other Indian groups or native groups like the Seminoles, you know, they've literally, I guess, sold out to Florida State. And for whatever reason, that's not offensive. Like some frat boy riding around on a horse pregame with a flaming spear, then chucks it into the ground as a ritual before a Florida State game. I don't know how many of you guys noticed, but they have a financial deal. They've worked out a financial deal that allows Florida State to do all that kind of stuff. And so, like, if your offense is for sale, I don't know how serious that I should really take it. I don't know if I should take it seriously or not, because it's not really an issue to me in like, I don't feel very strongly about it. Like, if they change the name of the team to something else, guess who wouldn't care? Me. So anyway, the way this kind of links this whole Slants music group or band links to the Washington Redskins is that, remember in 2014, the Redskins had their trademark canceled after the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board of the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office ruled that the team's name was derogatory and offensive. The team has since filed suit again to regain their name. Now, see, that's the other thing. Like, everybody's it's 2017. This is the era of I'm offended. You offended me. Everybody's offended by something. With that being said, how does like a court determine what's offensive? Like, for example, to a lot of people, the N-word is as offensive gets across the board, no matter who's saying it. To me, I don't really care. Like, I'm not a great example because it's hard to offend me. Like, it's like so many other things go on in life, and you know, for somebody who calls me a name or says something about me or thinks something about me, it's just weird. I don't know. I don't get offended easily, but I think there's some people who get offended way too easily. I'm sitting here looking at my Facebook thing. Cam is gone. Brown is next. Oh, you're stupid. Big L, you're an idiot, dude. Big L, what do you say? You saying you never seen it? Never seen what? Like, it's hard when you like just put like an ambiguous answer to something that I've said, because I've told you guys many times, I don't even listen to the show. It just comes out of my mouth and into the microphone. I got these headphones on, but they're really just they're really just kind of, I don't know, for show. I'm not listening to anything. I am no dose is asking me, you be all right with the Atlanta niggas though? Like, look, it's a difference between me being all right with something and being offended by it. Like, it's a team name, and you know how you show your displeasure and how people show the displeasure with things. They don't support them, and they don't deal with them. Like, and if I did have a problem with it, you know what I wouldn't expect? I wouldn't expect for everybody to have a problem with it. Like, that's the problem. That's the thing that happens now in 2017 and the era that we live in now. Like, if you feel offended by something, it's also offensive to somebody that everyone isn't offended by it. Like, that's why, like, I am no those would ask that question that way. So you'd be all right with it? Okay, it's obvious that you wouldn't be. But that doesn't mean I have to, I'm not going to shut down life for that. I mean, like, other people's stupidity is their problem. I got my own level of stupidity. That's my problem. And as long as people still get caught up on the little things like that, you think the name of the team in Washington is what's causing these people to want to drill in these people's native land and poison their water with a damn pipeline? Nope. Had nothing to do with it. Like, that's the bigger issue. Like, you want me to talk about something as it pertains to things that matter versus things that don't matter? Yeah, somebody calling me something doesn't matter. Somebody poisoning water, that's kind of an issue. that's kind of a deal. You know what I mean? And I don't believe one has anything to do with the other. Like, you can call me what you want to. You know, for example, this leads me into something very good. For example, a lot of the times the things that we voice displeasure in, we tend to consume anyway. You know what I mean? And over the last couple of days, a lot of, maybe more than usual, but a lot of like Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless and those shows that they do have been, you know, I've caught them in my reading, you know, and people are talking about like the silly stuff and the stupid stuff people are saying. And it got me to thinking, like, I have a very low opinion of both of those dudes. But then I thought to myself, they're not the idiots. Because at the end of the day, if that's their hustle, like Stephen A's hustle to be a loudmouth dumbass who uses big words. He's like that dude that was in jail in Living Color. You remember? He's like, you know, my posterior in my lacteria is so immense, or should I say commence, like that dude. That's who Stephen A. Smith is, like using words that you don't have, you can just talk. You know what I mean? And then you got Skip Bayless saying like the most ridiculous, crazy stuff ever in the world. And people say, oh man, they so stupid, they so ignorant. But for whatever reason, like hundreds of thousands of people a day watch those shows. To the point that ESPN was like, you know what? Let's dump this right in the middle of Sports Center on the main ESPN. How much of a shock that is to my system. And I'm sitting here working. You know, Sports Center's going on, so I'm getting all the information in my ear, what happened the night before, maybe something that I missed or whatever. And then all of a sudden, 10 o'clock hit, I still ain't got used to it. I hear that fool Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, that's y'all man, though. Like, give Trump a chance, man. He's one of the dudes, too. Now that I think about it, add him to the list. Old Stephen A., boy, the people's champ. Going back to the chat room here for a second, I am no docent. I personally just don't give an opinion about it because I can't relate to the Washington R's. Well, that's your opinion right there by calling them the R's. That's what Bomani does. A lot of these cats do that. You know, the team in Washington, the Washington team. Well, they call the Redskins. I don't know. You know, if it was a team called the niggas, it'd just be what it is. I mean, and exactly, because here's the thing. Going back to this story, you guys are doing a good job to keep me going back and forth and keeping me in line. Going back to the story, when you start talking about things being derogatory, now what we got to talk about is the way things are taken and the way things are used. And that's what these cats from the slants, the group, the band or whatever, that's what their argument is going to be. That they're a part of the group. They are Asians, and they want to take a term that was once derogatory and turn it into a positive thing, much like many black folks, including myself, have done with the N-word. That's one of my favorite words. Use it all the time, and I don't just use it for the brothers either. I use it for black folks. I use it for orange people. Now that we got the orange dude in the damn White House, I use it for white folks. Yeah, I use it universally. Yeah, and for different reasons too. Like sometimes it's like you my, and sometimes I can't stand that. You know, like that. You know, it has multiple uses. But that's what these cats are arguing. These cats are arguing like, look, we are that. Exactly. Yeah. Because I can be an NWA as well. I am no dose. Thank you. So getting back to this, the guy's name is Tam. He wants to reclaim a slur used against a group in which he is a member. Dan Snyder wants to continue to pretend, this is an opinion piece, Dan Snyder wants to continue to pretend that quote unquote Redskins isn't a slur against Native Americans. Like in his defense, if I can real quick, Dan Snyder, and I've heard other Native Americans say this on television. It's like, and when things get that decisive, you got to just make this an individual thing. You know what I mean? Because some of them like, nah, I think it honors us to see an image of ourselves, because their situation ain't like the freaking the Indians, the Cleveland Indian situation, the cartoon with the big teeth and the red skin. It's like an old Native American dude is a redskin. It's not like a cartoon making fun of you thing. So some Native Americans, I've heard them say it, that look, I don't have a problem with it. And I don't know what the percentages are, to be honest with you. I've heard people say it's a small percentage of people who are making this big to do, and have been for years now. My buddy used to play for the Redskins we got out of school in 99, 2000, like 16 years ago. And when I talked to him about this, he was like, yeah, it was a situation back then, but of course no social media and all that kind of stuff. But people still had their objections to it. But I have read articles that say it's a small group of people who feel this way, because if you really want to get down to the get down, do your own research of the things that Native Americans are actually going through in this country. You know, the level of alcoholism, the poor education, poverty. Those are real things that have nothing to do with someone calling you a name. I'm sure if those people could live regular lives and have and have a regular living wages and things of that nature, yeah, call me what you want to, because that's what I'm on. Like I know those said it earlier in the chat room here. You guys can join the chat room if you like. I forgot to invite you. Just go to, if you're listening via Spreaker, if you're listening via the app or my website, onemicwithbigmike.com, just click on that little thought bubble icon you see on the streaming player. It'll get you right up in here. Yeah. I know those, like, we all want respect. And I don't think respect comes in the form of what someone calls you or what someone's title is, you know, because we all know we've been at jobs before. Well, like, your man was cool last week, but today the boss gave him a 10 more cent and called him the damn manager. Now you want to act like an ass. You know what I mean? Because he got a title. I'm the dude that says, call me what you want to, man. Just pay me. I got people that love me and people who care about my feelings. So if you don't, that's fine. You know, I don't expect everybody to like me or agree with me and none of those things. You know, and say what you want to about me. I'm the same dude I was when I started the show in November, and every time we had this conversation, I'm like, look, as long as you ain't posing no threat to me, I live in America. And I don't believe I can have my cake and eat it too. As a dude who wants to be able to say what the hell he want to say, feel like somebody else can't either. Regardless of what your belief system is, you can say what you want to say. You know, as long as you ain't posing no threat to me, we supposedly live in America where that's the thing, right? You got a freedom of speech. Speaking of freedom of speech, this, from reading this article, this particular situation with the Redskins and all this stuff is different for whatever reason. It's not just a freedom of speech situation, because for some reason this is labeled as government speech, and it's held to a different standard than regular freedom of speech, than me just saying, you know, the N-word or calling somebody a cracker or whatever. You know, it's held to a different standard. I don't understand how the name of a football team got anything to do with the government. It's a privately held company. Like, damn what it actually is, a team, of course, but it is a privately held entity. He owns that. The same way he would own a dog, or he would own a car and have like a what is it called? A vanity plate on the end of it. Yeah. And look, I understand what you're saying, my man. Yeah, I say it all the time. You're free to say what you want to, but there are also sometimes consequences. But this is not him being punished. This is just someone else's feelings being taken into consideration. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different than me, like, getting on Facebook, going on this rant about, you know, running up in the church and killing a bunch of folks. Yeah, of course. You catch me doing that, somebody need to come get me. I mean, before it happened. You just can't say that and understand that ain't nothing gonna happen to you. But this dude is just saying, this is my team, this is my property. It's got a name on it. His punishment would be if everybody else felt like, you know what, you wrong. I'm not coming to your games no more. I'm not buying no more paraphernalia. That would be the punishment. That would be the ramification for that freedom of speech. Not what they doing. They trying to take away his patent so that people, and like the bros don't really care about this, because what's gonna end up happening if it's deemed that these people from the slants can't do this, it's going to kind of have a trickle-down effect on Dan Snyder, and his patent won't be reinstated. The reason that's a big deal to not only him, but to the NFL, is because as soon as that happens, that means me, I Am No Dose, Big L, anybody who hears the sound of my voice or has the capability of hearing it, or even if you don't, can recreate Redskin stuff, like exact Redskin paraphernalia, and sell it without any type of repercussion because they do not have a patent on it. And that would be one way of forcing them to change the name. That would be one way of getting the NFL to step in, because if you've noticed this whole time, Roger Goodell's been mum on this. He like, man, I got too much other stuff to worry about. I got cats beating up on women. I got DUIs happening, folks getting locked up, and all this kind of stuff, deflating footballs. I ain't got time to worry about no team name until it start costing money. Because if it costs the Redskins money, it's profit sharing, revenue sharing. It costs everybody money, and that's when it'll become a problem. So I understand going this route for the people who are, you know, I don't know, they're offended by the name or whatever, because it has a possibility of ending in a good place for them. Problem is, Dan Snyder's a billionaire, and this still is the country that it is, and money still does have a certain, it does speak at certain volumes. You know what I mean? Was it saying many blacks, back to the chat room, many blacks don't have a problem with the N-word being used outside of blacks. I just think we should give the respect we'd want. Yeah, of course, because like with a lot of things, and we gotta understand this, with a lot of things, they change over time. Things that mean something today didn't mean the same things back then. I think for a lot of times, black people, we just generationally hold on to painful things, you know, as opposed to just, you know, using them as educational tools. We use them in a way where it still ends up hurting us. Because think about this, like if we as black people just said, you know what, y'all got it, N-word, whatever. How many white people would still try to use it to hurt you if they knew it didn't? If they knew that thing made no difference to you, the word was just a word. But the problem is there's so much pain and hurt that still resides in that word, as people have explained to me. And I come back and explain to them that, yeah, that's what people do. People get angry, or people who don't like you, they'll find that thing that they can use to hurt you with. And I always say, look, man, stop loading another person's gun to shoot you with. You know what I mean? I heard Dominic Foxworth on TV. Is it Foxworth or Foxworthy? I did this last time. And I really like this. I heard him today talk about, he said something yesterday on somebody's show about having male cheerleaders. Like, why don't we have male cheerleaders out there like this? And then people start calling him gay and all this kind of stuff. And he was just like, okay, what's next? Like, he ain't like snap back at him, because I've said this before on this show. It's a weird thing to me that people say I was accused of being gay. like it's 1950 and it's a crime still. I was accused of, she's accusing me of being gay. My former coworker, Cordell Stewart, she's accusing me of being gay. All right, dude, it's not a crime, my man. You know what I mean? And so people look for a certain reaction, and the same thing he said, Foxworth, thank you, I am no dose. People didn't get the reaction that they wanted, so they tried to ramp up the insults or whatever. But see, that's how you handle stupidity. You know, not with emotion. That white boy said this, I'm gonna kick his ass. Because we all see those videos on Facebook, right? Somebody getting punched out in the bus or whatever for saying the N-word. But we never see the video of that person going to jail behind that. Because that's assault. You can't do that. No matter what somebody says, you can't do that. And everybody, you know, clapping, and that's the thing to do, I guess, right? Nah, it's not. Be better. Be smarter. This is the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here. Spreaker.com. Got 1 hour down. Around 1 hour to go. I'm trying not to pay attention to this game, man. The Greek Freak about to get down. We got Russ and KD going at it later on. And I got to get up early in the morning. Oh, man. Anyway, it's Spreaker, the app. Tune in, One Mic with Big Mike. On demand on all those outlets, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, YouTube. And I'm streaming live video right now on Facebook. I shall return in just a minute.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Jason Derulo. I love that music connects to people all over the country. But unfortunately, so does something else. childhood hunger. 15 million kids struggle with hunger right here in America. And yet, every year, billions of pounds of surplus food in the U.S. go to waste instead of going to the children in need. Feeding America is working to change this. The Feeding America nationwide network of food banks rescues this surplus of food to help provide meals to families in virtually every community in the United States, including yours. But they just can't do this alone. Join me in the fight against hunger in America. For more information on what you can do to get involved, visit feedingamerica.org. That's feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America. A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
One mic.
All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One mic with Big Mike.
You know, ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what?
You, and you.
One mic with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah I Bang Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host.
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Here on a hump day. Also on a Woman Crush Wednesday.
Hump Day.
It is One Mic with Big Mike show. You can hear it live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, starting at 7 o'clock on Spreaker.com, also on the Spreaker app. Make sure you guys head on over there, download the app, sign up for your free Spreaker account, and follow the One Mic with Big Mike show. Once you do that, you'll get an alert every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday when the show goes live. You can also hear it on TuneIn and onemicwithbigmike.com, which is my website. I've already done an hour, and if you missed any of that hour, you can hear it on demand on all 4 of the outlets I've already mentioned, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. And make sure you guys are subscribing to the YouTube page and the iTunes. I got to do some more stuff with the YouTube, but I don't really know what to do. I don't really know how to participate in YouTube and get views other than posting my show there. Maybe that's, you know what? I'm sure I can Google it. You can Google everything. I'm going to Google it. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitter and Instagram so you can answer our hashtag, put it on the poll. Questions brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. I'm sitting here looking for them right quick. For whatever reason, why don't they put them in order? All right, so here's one. Now you guys in the chat room, Big L, I am no those. You guys can answer this as well, and anybody listening on the old or watching on the old Facebook live stream here. If Antonio Brown never went live on Facebook, the lazy sports media would be talking about either Goodell not going to New England, the last game in the Georgia Dome, or they just create something else. 50% said the last game in the Dome, and 50% said they just create something else. Like, I lean towards that. They just, bring something up. There's another one here somewhere. All right, who should have to apologize for the Steelers locker room video situation? The first option is Antonio Brown. The second one is Mike Tomlin. The third one is both. And the fourth option is neither, which is the one that I would choose if I was voting. Now, one of them apologizes for nothing. These damn dudes is being I thought it was crazy funny because my man, if you look at the video, he is oblivious to what's going on. I don't even think he even knows that your man is even speaking. Mike Tomlin is speaking. And a lot of that stuff, man, I feel like so many times it's for rookies and the people who get into all that emotion stuff. Because if you ever watch, if you Google right now, Google one of those Ray Lewis's, any dogs in the house and what time is it things, look at the people around. Don't look at him. Look at the people around him and what they're doing. Guys like Terrell Suggs, these dudes that just want to play football, they looking at Ray like, come on, dude. You do this every day for the last 10 years. You still think folks are getting hype off of it? But it looks good for TV. It looks like it's all so crunk. These dudes is professionals, man. Like every bit of energy that they can possibly conserve, I believe they want to conserve it. And they don't want to get into all that rah-rah hype stuff. And my man, Antonio Brown, here's the other elements of this story too. Remember at the beginning of the season, I talked about this dude need to hold out, get his money. Because it's the NFL, you don't know what's happening. You know, anything can happen, and you at your highest point ability-wise right now. Get paid. I don't give a damn if the Steelers don't renegotiate contracts with 2 years left. So what? Because they did it anyway. They didn't renegotiate it in the true sense that he would want it to get a new deal, but they moved the money around and gave him a little bit of a bump this year so they could tear it up in the offseason. But it doesn't matter to me the level at which you do it. You did it. So don't tell me you don't renegotiate with 2 years left. I'm the best wide receiver in the league, arguably. I'm definitely the best on this team because you got your man Martavius Bryant. He's suspended. You got Sammy Coates out there. A couple of these other kids. Le'Veon Bell at the time was suspended too. So I'm like, what a better time to throw some weight around. He ain't do it. So in the interim and to supplement, this dude got hella endorsements. And one of them, I think the rumor was that he gets $500,000 per Facebook Live video. Think that works out. and for everyone who thinks it's like some old he's going rogue and how dare he do this, that craziness you heard in the media, he's done it before. And one of them even featured Mike Tomlin. So Mike Tomlin knew he was doing that kind of stuff. It just so happened that some things were heard that people feel like because America is so moral, you can't drop a couple A-bombs or A-hole and people not lose their damn mind. Come on, man. You been to a movie lately? So I'm no one. Now one of them. And yeah. I am no those said they create something else. Yeah, they will. I'm sorry, Big L. Big L saying they create something else. Yeah, because like no one wants to do no damn work. No one. Like I've been talking for over an hour right now. And I haven't created anything. I just did some more reading and some things that I found somewhat interesting. Here's something else I found very interesting. And I had to do a little bit of I don't know, digging is the word, but I had to go a little bit deeper with this one, because this thing that happened in Oregon, you guys heard about that? These kids end up hospitalized, and your man Wille Taggart in his first, his first couple of weeks up at the school, all of a sudden these kids is in the hospital, and there was some talk about before he got there, how up at Oregon they didn't really work hard. That guys would leave the workouts and wouldn't even be sweating. I don't know how realistic that is, but that is one of the things that I heard that came out of this. So if you don't know the story, Wille Taggart he's a black dude from I think Florida Atlantic, where Lane Kiffin is coaching now. He's the brand new head coach at the University of Oregon, the first ever black coach in the whole state of Oregon, the whole college system in the state of Oregon. Of course, they have no pro teams there. Do they not? Nah, no pro teams in Oregon. And in the first couple of weeks, him and his man, they starting to work out the kids. Of course, Oregon didn't make it to a bowl game this year. So it's a little bit of a different feel, I guess, for the kids that are already there. But here's the thing. This has been made another thing, Big L. This is another thing that's been made a big deal of. A couple of kids went to the hospital because they got worked too hard. Like, I don't want to, I hate sounding like that dude, but sometimes I just have to. When we was in college, man, like our weight room was crappy. Our coach was a douchebag. First of all, our head coach was a douchebag, first and foremost. They had our weight room like at the top of the stadium. There was like one little bitty window and one little water fountain over on the far end of the room, and they had like this big like exhaust fan on the front wall that I guess blew the air outside. Wasn't no air conditioning there, nothing. So the way our new strength and conditioning coach decided he was going to do was do this like aerobic weight training thing where like everything was timed, but with heavy weight. It was still timed. And my man, when I'm telling you, it was so hot in there, cats were in there like throwing up their guts, and then the smell, it was like so like third world, cuz. And it just was something that happened. Like we weren't happy about it, but it happened. And the idea now, and I have a real question for the guys and the girls listening to the show. And remember, even if you listen to this show on demand, you can still, Big L does it all the time. He sends me messages after the fact. They don't let you reply to him, which is crazy, but he sends me messages all the time. Like, I'm listening to the show right now, brother. So if you guys are listening to this on demand, you can still, like, you know, voice your opinions on what you're hearing. I always wonder, man, is football changing that much, or is it the participants in football that are changing? Like, I kind of lean towards the other, because while it is it's hotter now. Like, in 2016 was just announced as the hottest year on record in the history of the world. But, like, when these kids is out here falling out from football, I've long standing, like, even since I was coaching little kids, they spend a lot of time inside now. And we're human beings, so our bodies are able to acclimate to certain things over time. Like the way, you know, your mom and my mom, I'm about to be 40 years old. If you and my, God, I can't believe I'm saying this. If you're in my generation, you know, it used to be like these little standard rules. Like, your mama was like, look, when I leave the house, you leave the house. You ain't finna be up in here running up my bills all damn day, running up my damn air conditioning, opening up my refrigerator, eating up all the damn food. When I leave, you leave. And you had to get outside and do something, and find you something to do. Go to the park, play basketball, go over your homie's house. If his mama let company come in the house, you know. But nowadays, everything for young kids or youngsters is an indoor thing. That's why these kids was killing themselves over this Pokemon Go. Cats was walking off of cliffs and all kind of stupidness. They ain't used to being outside. Big L saying first college football player. What? To get is it the first college football to get hospitalized? No. Wow, I played small college football and guys stayed in the hospital. Damn, I don't know that. Like, I played one AA ball too, man. But I don't know if cats stayed in the hospital. What I do know is this, Big L. The year after I left, a kid actually died. He actually died running the conditioning test. And it wasn't no out of shape kid either. They just didn't find he had a heart situation. And from my boy was still up there. My boy told me that this kid was a wide receiver. He's like a real, like, cut up, like real lean, fit dude. So you wouldn't expect it. But yeah, young kid, he passed out on the turf and died up there. And, you know, as sad as it is to say, and as harsh as it sounds, like, those are the type of things that can happen. You know what I mean? And we're talking about 3 kids out of 112 at Oregon, and people are acting as though like the entire team was just so exhausted. These dudes went out and played a basketball tournament after it was over with. You know what I mean? So to act as though it was that bad, and this guy, the trainer, you know, the next thing they did, they went and looked up all his past and all that. He only has a bachelor's degree. He's supposed to have like this advanced degree and this and that and the other to be able to do this in sports science. And it's like, at what point, I always want to know this, man, when people bank on like degrees and these little pieces of paper so much, at what point does experience like make up the difference? You know what I mean? Like, this ain't this dude, like Wille Taggart, for those of you who don't know, he brought this guy with him from Florida Atlantic. And I didn't hear about a lot of dudes in Florida Atlantic and that hot ass Florida sun going to hospitals. I don't know that it happened or didn't happen. I just know that I didn't hear about it happening. So now my man Willie's up there, the first brother in camp, and all this is happening to him. But Joe Thomas, let me find this for you guys. Joe Thomas is the tackle. He's the big time left tackle for the Cleveland Browns. Let me tell you guys what he had to say. This is without him being at Oregon, only having the same information that you and I have from the media and from if you decide you don't read a little bit. So based on that, and I talked about this the other week, right? About when I was talking about a comment that Renee made to me with very limited information. I had given her very limited information, and there was a very abrupt response to it. And I told you guys that's like an antidote, yeah, of what happens regularly. He says, quote, whoever is behind this should be fired. Nothing to do with football. Where is the NCAA? How about protecting the athletes instead of your paychecks? He goes on to say, these are petty game coaches. What? These are the petty games coaches play, when they are clueless about actually coaching the game and developing kids. Gives football a bad name. If the NCAA won't protect these student athletes. Maybe they need to form some type of coalition that has the power to stand up to the coaches. Now, a lot of what he's saying out of context, yeah, it makes sense. You know, the students at Northwestern, you guys remember, they tried to unionize on some other stuff, on some labor stuff. But then to start talking about these are guys who can't coach and they should be fired immediately. Like, dude, you don't know that. You don't know their life. You don't know what happened. You know that 3 kids out of 112, if I gave you those odds in anything, you'd spit in my face and walk away. If I said you got a 3 in 112 chance of winning, you maximize it because it sounds, hospital. People go to the hospital for a lot of things, man. People go to the hospital for a lot of things. One of the dudes is out of the hospital right now, as far as I know at this point, and 2 of them were reported to be in good condition. They were a bunch of freshmen. I think 1 or 2 of them was a redshirt freshman, or all 3 of them may have been redshirt freshmen. And you know, they weren't able to handle what was being handed out. And like Big L could tell you, because Big L just said that he played football in college. That's what it is for a strength coach, for any type of personal trainer. A lot of times it's to push you past the limit that you feel like you have. You know what I mean? Because your human response would be to stop once you get to a certain point. You have other people around you. You have a training staff. You have a strength and conditioning coach to push you past that limit, to get you to realize that you did have more. In this case, 3 dudes didn't have any more. That's all we're talking about. You start talking. This dude has been suspended without pay. I'm gonna get you his name here in just a second. He's been suspended without pay for a month. Now, this ain't the offensive coordinator getting a couple milli. It's a strength and conditioning cat. They got this dude up out here for a month. Of course, your man Willie had to bite the bullet and apologize. Like, I'm good on that, man. I'm good on people apologizing when they hadn't done it. Like, certain things are just unfortunate situations. And then when these things happen, the race element always creeps into my mind. That's what I'm talking about when I went and did a little bit more digging into some situations, and a couple of things just came to me. First, let me give you my man Willie's apology first. He said the safety and welfare of the student athletes is paramount in all we do. Sorry, that's not Willie. That is the University of Oregon. Where is Willie's? You know what? I may not have saved it, but either way, you know the standard drill of the apologies that people give. Like, yeah, this happened and blah 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 blah. And all right, here's Willie. As a head football coach, I hold myself responsible for all of our football-related activities, and the safety of our students must come first. I have addressed the issue with the strength and conditioning staff, and I fully support the actions taken today by the university. Like, that's his man, too. He brought this dude across the country. Feel me? Only for this cat to do the same thing he been doing. And just having to, take the L, man. Just take that sword for this. I don't know, man. So I went and looked for some things, right? And I don't know that I had to look too hard for what I found, but I wanted to see if anything like this may have happened recently, right? And it did. Actually, I think yesterday, a kid at North Michigan, he died. Now he went to the hospital. He gone to the morgue. If you're wondering the same thing I wondered, yeah, it's a white head coach. He's white. And maybe because it's North Michigan too. But like I said, I didn't have to look very hard to find that this kid is dead. He was an offensive lineman, a redshirt freshman, big kid, like 320 pounds, and he's dead now. But I don't see people on Twitter and Joe Thomas and these cats on Twitter talking about folks need to be fired. Because at the very end of the day, at least this kid is these 3 kids at Oregon, they still walking around and breathing. One of them's out the hospital. The other ones, they say, are in good condition, quote unquote. This kid is dead. Last year, a couple cats died at Iowa. Iowa had to pay out a bunch of money. They got sued and all this kind of stuff. I don't remember. This is just last year. I don't remember all this stuff happening. If you ask the question that I asked, I'll give you an answer. Yeah, they had a white head coach. I just believe that there are certain situations that people don't want other people to succeed. And we saw it with Charlie Strong. This story about Wille Taggart was broken by the local newspaper, the Oregonian, whatever. Right? And then it hit the national news, and it kind of went to another level. But again, dudes, like Big L saying, dudes was at the hospital all the time when he went to school. But like, dudes get exhausted a lot. Like, I remember training by myself at times, pushing myself to exhaustion. Should I be at fault for that or whatever? Like, I remember literally blacking out at times. I don't understand, man. Like, the world is changing around me. And I don't think, like, I told my wife the other day, like, sometimes I look around and I'm like, I don't belong here. I don't recognize a lot of these things that are happening. Like, sometimes things just ain't for you. For example, another story out of the NCAA. This kid up north somewhere. I don't remember where he's from. Let me see if I can find the article here. Anyway, the staff at UConn, it changed. They got a new head coach. They got a new head coach that was their old head coach. And when he got there, as of right now, signing day is like a couple of weeks away, like 3 weeks away. He decided that a kid that the school had offered a scholarship to, he wasn't necessarily going to fit in the plans of the teams going forward. And for whatever reason, that's a big deal. And people are asking, should the NCAA be able to pull scholarships from people? Yes. Like, the same way I don't have a problem with these kids like showing up with mascots and 5 hats and they pick one at the last minute. I don't care. Kids decommitting for whatever reason. No, it's do what you want to do, because that's the way the system is set up. Apparently, this boy's dreams of playing college football were crushed. I can't believe I can't find this damn article. God, I must not have saved it. I must not have saved the thing on the UConn kid. It's pretty hilarious though to just hear, and he's a little white boy. Also, if you're wondering, he's a little white boy, 17 years old. His birthday is actually on signing day, which is awesome too. And the University of UConn doesn't want him. And it seems to me like that's a you problem, cuz be better. If college football ain't in your plans, or ain't in your I don't know, you call it destiny or whatever, well, you gotta do like everybody else. Find something better to do. Like, my scholarship got pulled. It was my fault. But it happened. Here it is. I found it. But it happened because I had academic issues. This guy named Floyd Walker, he was the running backs coach at the University of Middle Tennessee State University. They were the first team to recruit me. And because of that, I was like, that's where I want to go. I went on a visit. I went there and a couple other schools. I fulfilled all of my visits. And I was like, okay, I want to go there. Well, the problem was I had some academic situation. I had an academic situation. That GPA was slow. I had the test scores, which was crazy to people. My test scores was hella good, but I ain't like to go to class. That wasn't my thing, going to school, you know. So on signing day, he came to the school, and while everybody was in the library, not everybody, a couple people was in the library getting their pictures taken by the little local paper. It was nothing like it is now. Getting their pictures taken with the local paper, I couldn't go. And he came and he showed me the scholarship, and I know it was the actual scholarship because I have one from another school, a different school. It's the same exact one from the Ohio Valley Conference. And he told me I couldn't sign it until I got my grades up. And I said, yes, sir, I'm going to get them grades up. But then when I got the grades up, nobody can get in contact with him. My parents couldn't get in contact with him. My coaches couldn't get in contact with him until finally they did. And he said they had a decommit of a guy who they thought they weren't going to get, basically, a quarterback. Decommitted from the school that he initially committed to, and just lo and behold, guess what? We still got a scholarship for you. We told this other dude we was going to save it for him, but screw that. So, you know, it happened. And as that was one of my first lessons on accountability. Like, I know had I done the right things initially, like, I don't think this kid did anything wrong, but me personally, if I had done the right things initially, I would have signed a scholarship. I also believe that had I signed that scholarship at that time to go to that school, I would have been back home the next semester. I probably would have flunked out, you know, because I was going there for all the wrong reasons. So anyway, as I wrap up this segment, the kid's name was Ryan Dickens. Yeah, he got dicked around too, didn't he? 6'2", 210-pound linebacker. His mom is the one doing most of the speaking in this article. She says he worked so hard to do the right thing. just do the right thing. You know, you got to work too hard to do. Just it's the right thing. Just do it. So like I mentioned, UConn switched coaches, and apparently Randy Edsall was the new coach. He called the family and said to them, "This is per the mom, quote, you have my word. We 100% want to offer you a scholarship. You are exactly the guy we want on our team." Then later on, she talks about how it blows her mind that a guy can take the wind out of your sails without no regret, nothing. Hey, that ain't his job to feel sorry for your son. This dude is doing a job that if he picks the wrong players and those players don't perform, he loses that job. Like, people need to get over this whole concept of these coaches being mentors and father figures and all this kind of craziness. No, they are contract employees. They're contractors. And their main objective is to get people to come in to make sure they're able to keep and maximize their contract. So the story gets to me funnier because apparently they got this phone call after they was at a banquet. They were celebrating my man's athletic, academic, and community service achievements. And as they're there, homeboy is talking to the kid's high school coach and was like, "Nah, I don't think it's going to happen." So then the coach begs Randy Edsall, "Please don't call him tonight. Call him tomorrow." You know, they're celebrating right now. They're really riding the high right now. And I'm like, whatever, dude. This dude got stuff to do. He ain't got time to be like moving his schedule to worry about this kid's feelings. Again, we back to that. Everybody wants you to worry about their feelings. Be better. And then you have more choices than just UConn. Luckily for me, I was better. I had to sit out a year because of the grades, of course. But when next year rolled around, I had choices, and I was able to go sign me a different scholarship somewhere else. You know what I mean? And trust me, I wasn't the best. No one was more surprised than me, and someone was going to give me a full scholarship to play some damn football. You know, I thought I was all right. I was pretty good. I was the best at my school, but I didn't think, whatever. You know, I knew people who were better, and I played with and against people who were better that I felt were better that didn't make the leap for whatever reason. So anyway, I told you about my man's birthday. He's supposed to go up there and sign the scholarship. Not so fast, my friend. And I guess for his mom to save face, she's like throwing these other schools out there. She's like, yeah, the University of Rhode Island's coming checking for him. The Naval Academy or the Air Force, one of the academy schools is coming and checking for him. And, you know, he's talking this big cash, you know what, that UConn is going to regret this forever. And no, he's not. No, he's not. Like, UConn's not a school that is like, damn, we let one get away. That UConn is not that's reserved for like the Washingtons of the world and like the Penn States of the world, the teams that may not get a bunch of 5 stars, but you know, if 1 or 4 star decides they want to go and then doesn't come and then turns up at Clemson and is awesome, yeah, then you're like, oh man, got away. But if this dude goes to like the Air Force Academy, I don't think anybody at UConn is really going to care that much. I mean, have you heard about the Lady Huskies? That's pretty much the story in town, you know. And then after that, it's Kevin Ollie's boys when they decide to be good, and then there's football. I don't even think UConn had a football team for a long time, did they? I don't know. Anyway, that's 3 segments down. We got 1 to go. I got to talk about Donald Trump, and I got to talk about Jim Brown and what Jim Brown's trying to pull off on tomorrow. Yeah, it's real. Like, it would be what you guys, what a lot of you guys would describe as coonery, or my man Rob Calloway would say coonery and buffoonery. It kind of lies right there in that bed with those two things. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show. Spreaker.com is where you can hear me Monday, Wednesday, and Friday starting at 7 o'clock. You can also hear me live on the Spreaker app and on TuneIn and on One Mic with BigMike.com. You still got a chance to get your comments and questions and all those things in at 404-902-8104. And if I have time, man, I'm going to let you guys hear this voicemail that I got today. It's wild, crazy, and I don't really even know what to do with it. Maybe y'all can help me out. You can also leave your comments below the streaming video that's going on Facebook at facebook.com/1MICWITHBIGMIKE, or jump on in this live interactive chat room. Just click on that little thought bubble icon you see, and you boom, be right up in here to share your thoughts with the rest of these ignorant buttholes that are up in here. All right, man, we're going to take a break and come back for the last segment. I got some basketball to watch.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? When floodwaters reach your door? When wildfires are engulfing the edge of your neighborhood? Or an earthquake is destroying buildings? When a tornado is tearing through town? Or a hurricane strikes? Or is the best time perhaps today? During a disaster, you may not be able to stay in touch with your family or friends as easily as you think. And it's not always as simple as using your cell phone. That's why now is the time to take action. Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go.
Yeah, we're gonna clap back. Ain't Ja Rule like saved now? Did I see that? Like when I was working at the radio station, he came up there to like promote like a Christian play. I do believe I remember that being the case. I don't think I'm lying about that. Anyway, welcome back to the One Mic with Big Mike show here on a hump day. Also a Woman Crush Wednesday. Today's hashtag WCW. Her handle is, real quick, at KNOWITSLEI __. So you guys can head on over there and give us some likes and some shout outs. And don't be creepy, because I don't want her to think I'm sending you guys to be goons or nothing. You know what I did today? It started yesterday. I got this new deep fryer, and so I was watching Dine-Ins, Drive-Ins, and Dives the other day, and the chick was making donuts, and I was like, man, I think I can do that. So I tried it the other day, and it didn't come out right. I figured out I used the wrong kind of flour. You can't use bread flour. You got to use like all-purpose flour. So they came out like gummy, and they weren't all the way done. So I tried it again, and it came out better. I think I made them too big and too dense. So next time I got to just make them thinner, so when they puff up in the fryer, they come out more fluffy. But anyway, today what I did, I was give me some breakfast, and the Tupperware thing of the donuts was on the table. So I was like, what am I gonna eat for breakfast? I looked at the donuts. I looked at the waffle thing, the waffle iron. I was like, Shout, I put them damn donuts in that damn waffle iron, you know, the one with the 2 sides, and then mashed them joints down. Gold. Straight gold, homie. A donut waffle is what I had this morning. 2 of them. Yeah, on some fat boy stuff. 2 of them. Like probably 3 million calories. I don't give a damn. They were delicious. They were scrumptious, cuz. With some bacon, the world is mine, cuz. Where was I going? Oh. I said I was going to talk about Donald Trump. So, your man, we talked about this at the beginning of the show, right? These black folks is going and checking out and hollering at Donald Trump and all this kind of stuff. I'm just kind of flabbergasted, like, not why the reaction is what it is, because first of all, no one's announcing it before they're going. No one's like, nah, I'm about to go holler at Donald Trump. I'm about to make sure that he understands the black community is here, and we demand answers, and we demand results, and blah, 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 blah. No one's coming at the situation like that. Like, everybody's running up in there like a bunch of scared bitches, and like they coming down from the Trump Towers with all these glowing things to say about this man that we all know is a flaming douchebag. Like, to the nth degree. And now all of a sudden, all these people have all these glowing things about him. Like, I understand. Like, I'm not really a part of that situation, like coming at people like that on the internet. But I understand why y'all doing it. The people who do it with the coons and whatever y'all do, I feel you. Trust me, I feel you. because it doesn't make sense, and it smells of ridiculousness and stupidity. So the latest thing now, of course, Steve Harvey went up there, and I read something today. Steve Harvey is like, the black community really hurt my feelings. Calm down, buddy. You didn't build your wealth off the back of plenty of black folks. You know what I mean? So let's not act like that's a thing. Now because white people got your back, you feel like white people got your back. They let you come back to the Miss Universe contest after you botched it. And by the way, isn't that Donald Trump's thing? One of those pageants is Donald Trump's thing, because when he was on the campaign trail, he got in trouble with some of those women from the past. So, my man, you ain't fooling nobody, dude. That's your man, $100,000, and death to the fake ones. Big up to the real, death to the fake ones. What they say on the Outkast record? Yeah, man. I'm kind of cool with just knowing who people are and where they stand. You know what I mean? Your man Jim Brown, who I've been telling people for the longest while, this dude ain't what so many people with your dad and whomever before you have built this guy up to be. Just because someone's a good football player, and at one time in history, they showed some anger towards things that everyone should have been angered to. It don't necessarily make them don't put them in no godlike status. Doesn't turn them into a deity. That they're infallible. I had the article, and it's probably still somewhere on my Facebook page, about all of the incidents that Jim Brown has had throughout the years. Beating up on women, beating up on people that have gone unchecked, unmentioned by all these people who worship this stuff. This guy. This is why I'm not a fan. And this is the part of my dad that is me. Not a fan of man worship, man. I can appreciate you for what you do, but when something human happens, I'm not disappointed, because you ain't no better than me in that regard. In the sense that mistakes, or sometimes they're not mistakes. Which, by the way, I'm going to get back to that whole concept on mistakes, because something real stupid is happening right now in the black community, and it needs to be done with. It needs to be stopped, and it happened once before, and it's happening again posthumously with somebody. So anyway, your man a couple months ago, remember, last month, he's talking to CNN, Jim Brown. This grown, old-ass, angry black man. I fell in love with Trump. Because he really talks about helping African Americans, black people. And that's why I'm here. It's the same debate that they talked about freaking building a wall. He talked about giving Muslims a test. He talked about Mexicans being rapists and murdered. He talked about a lot of stuff. Why not? I can't say it enough, man. I say it all the time on the show. Stop believing liars, man. Some people put themselves in the category of prove it. Don't say nothing. Just do it, and then I'll believe it. We're going to repeal Obamacare, and we're going to replace it immediately. Something that has never been done in ever. This dude all of a sudden thinks he's a damn superhero. I just feel for people, man. I feel for people who, like people who had to fight for things like the LGBT community. I said Q, right? LGBTQ community, right? Because him and his wacko vice president, a dude who sat by and let people die of AIDS in his city when he could have saved a lot of people with something as simple as a needle exchange. Well, we don't want to encourage drug use as though dope fiends need encouraging. The problem was it turned into a public health problem, and AIDS was being spread like wildfire. And people smarter than him said, "Look, if you do this, we can get a hold of it." No, I don't believe that. You know what happened? After a lot of pressure and a lot of people had to die, they finally did it. And you know what happened? The same thing that people predicted happening. The amount of new AIDS cases went way down. It's just that type of stupidity that's the stupidity that's leading y'all country. And now this dumbass Jim Brown's like, "Oh, I believe him," because he said he's gonna do everything he can for black people. You know what he's doing for Jim Brown? In case you're wondering. Well, on Thursday, tomorrow, the inauguration is Friday. Your man is planning a pre-inauguration event. Jim Brown is. He and your man Ray, Mr. Where the Dog's At, or any dogs in the house. Yeah. The guests will pay, get this now, I don't know how much the tickets are for these football games this weekend, but on Thursday, you can also pay $2,500 to chat with Jim Brown and Ray Lewis about their support for presidential candidate Orange Man. The same dude who had a lawsuit on him for housing discrimination. He's the guy who was talking about my man, the Prez was from Kenya. He tweeted actual fake news about how more white people are killed by black people than by white people. He retweeted it. This the dude that they gonna charge you $2,500 of your money to talk to them about him, about their support for him. Come on, man. Where we at? Where we at when that's the thing? You know what I mean? And then I for one, I love stories like this, especially on days like this, because you'll look at it and say, well, that's not a sports story. Of course it is. Jim Brown, Ray Lewis, two bona fide Hall of Fame football players. Yeah, it has a sports hook to it. You know, it ain't about shooting percentage or slugging percentage or none of that. Well, it damn sure has a sports hook to it. And this is why my show exists. This is why I created this. To find those things that cross over, that'll get, tossed on the cutting room floor at ESPN or your local sports station, because we don't talk politics here. That's the worst thing any guest can ever say to me. He's like, man, not to get too political. Do what you want to do. If it's there to be talked about, talk about it. Content is content. That I'm all about that. And then for anybody who's listening to this, oh, by the way, damn it, tomorrow at 6:20. Shoot, now I gotta find the information, and because I didn't put it on my main sheet, I'm an idiot for that, amongst other things. But I'll be on with Sean Stewart at 6:20 tomorrow on the Sean Stewart Show tomorrow at 6:20 on sports4fans.com. The number 4 fans with a Z.com. So if you guys want to check your boy out, I'll be on there kicking it around with them fellas about all this crazy foolishness or whatever they want to talk about. I don't care. But yeah, my show exists for that, and content is content. And for people who trying to do this and broadcast, and it's pretty wide open for everybody now. You don't have to go through a radio station like a lot of us did. Just understand everything is content. It's potential content. Any conversation you have, anything that you witness, if you guys are looking for Renee's not here today. Renee got mad at me because of the same premise. She brought up a conversation to me on text message the other day, and I talked about it, whatever it was about, Aaron Rodgers or something in the last show, and she got pissed off about it. She said she was pissed off, in her words, about it. And okay, I don't know what I'm supposed to say or do about that. I'm doing a show. You know what I mean? And I have one woman whose feelings that I protect. And if with anything, when people get their feelings hurt, that's not, I'm not doing anything intentionally to do it. Y'all who listen to the show know that I'm not Mr. Shock Jock guy. I just say the things that I believe. And if my characterization of another person is off or whatever, I just don't make any apologies for that. You know what I mean? I don't. So then you have your man. You had Jim Brown, and he's up there kissing Donald Trump's ass or whatever, man. It's gonna be a bad day on Friday, man. I'm trying to get one of my comedian guys on Friday so we can, bring some levity to the situation, because it's gonna be a bad day. This dude is gonna be the president on Friday. I went from laughing and having fun with this to now it being so real and so stupid. Anyway, speaking of things that are real and stupid, for Atlanta Falcons fans, I told you guys what was going to happen, didn't I? Kyle Shanahan's out of here. The 49ers have said this is their guy. He's going to go out there and rebuild that team in the Bay. And the Falcons, win or lose this year, you're going to be starting over next year on offense. And that's got to be like a scary premise, a scary thought for you guys, man. I would assume, because you got a good thing going right now. But just like in any other season with any other team, when there's a good thing going, somebody else wants that good thing. And when you got an offensive coordinator who is the offensive head coach, essentially, you got a defensive head coach. Your head coach is a defensive head coach. He has really nothing to do with the offense. So you can assume that the next guy who comes in will come in with his own philosophies and so forth, and Matt Ryan will have to relearn that whole situation unless, of course, they promote from within. But I don't know who wide receivers coach is. I know, yeah, I do. It's Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris was a DB coach up until last year, so that probably won't happen. The running backs coach, I seen him chewing out Tevin Coleman the other day, some old brother. So I don't know if that's a possibility to, move him up. O-line coach, I don't know who the O-line coach is over there. So more than likely, it feels like a new guy be in here and, help, whatever, help you guys pray or help you, whatever. God help you. Here's something else I wanted to address too. And this has absolutely nothing to do with sports, but only to do with black people and the things that people are able to, that religion or all these things that you believe in help you to look past. Today, I ran into a post today that was, and I've seen a couple, and for people who aren't here in Atlanta, just bear with me. The mega preacher, Eddie Long, he died last year. He died over the weekend, I'm sorry. And he's a real filthy individual. He's a guy who was accused, and by the way, never denied roofing boys and raping them. And still continued to preach at a mega church. Like 20 grand is the membership, I thought it was at one point. Maybe more. And I know because I got people in other cities that it's franchised. Like there's like new birth franchises across the country. That's why I don't really have a lot of trepidation in talking about this and people not knowing what I'm talking about. Because it's not even just like a here in Atlanta thing. And so now I've seen people like make fake Facebook posts about his anointing and how much of a man of God he was. And I've kind of let him go until the day I saw one about this girl saying everybody wants to bring up the mistakes in his past. Hold on, shawty. Hold on. Are we really there where as long as you're not raping my son, my brother, my people, I'm just going to be, I'm comfortable in writing it off as a mistake? That's bad business, man. And look, I'm gonna tell you, I've said it, and people who listen to the show know I'm not a religious person. I have nothing to do with any type of religion or any type of that situation. And I don't understand, especially in a situation like this, what makes people hold on to it. This guy is a predator, man. And when asked straight up about it, I'm not the man they're portraying me to be. They're throwing stones or something. Some dumbass biblical thing he brought up. It's like, did you bang boys in the butt after you gave them drugs? The answer to most of us would be no. I'm not the man they're portraying me. What the hell does that even mean? And now he dead. And good. I used to work with his son. Kid named Young Dirty. He wanted people to call him Young Dirty. He was Edward Long Jr. And he had one of those things where you don't want to, make your way off of dad's name, which I can commend. I worked with him back in the day, maybe about 10 years ago. I know it sucks losing your dad, but guess what, man? Your dad was a predator, so F him. Straight up. All this crazy, and as I'm sitting here now, I'm still seeing, I thought I turned them off. I'm still seeing the notifications from that, whatever, what is it, the Post or whatever. People are ridiculous, man. And it's black folks, man. So hung up on this mythology of things that he's a man. He's imperfect, and in this case, way more imperfect than I am. The only difference is, man, he got like people following him. I had this girl one time arguing me down, talking about, do I know he did it? Was I there to see him do it? And I was like, is that what it takes? Like, I have to be present while this dude is raping a boy to know that it happened? If that's the burden of proof, yeah, I'm losing then. I've totally missed out on life. Let's see what else I got here before I get about it, because I know, I got time. Let me let y'all hear this voicemail, man. This is the craziest thing in ever, dude. Let me let y'all hear this, and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go watch this basketball game. This cat sends me this today, and I gotta make sure I take his number.
Yes, Big Mike again, bounty hunter, Maurice, New York side. Yeah, like I said, gonna expose the police corruption and the drug selling here. My telephone number is 4004. I don't know if you can handle a story, but it'd be good. I'm a bounty hunter that if you look up Covington police, bounty hunter arrested, they don't want me to talk and stuff. I try to give them a chance. All I do is apologize, give me back my stuff and so on. But I spoke to you about the coat drive. It's up to you, man. It puts you on top. You be on top of it. I'm trying to come with you first, your brother.
What the hell is this?
All right. For everything be all exposed. They putting lies and stuff like that, and I'm legitimized. I got a state certification as a bounty hunter. I got certified gun license and everything. And I even say that there's a sergeant named Sergeant Ashley Bosey here in Newton County, Georgia. About to expose it. Remember, this is the home of General Lee. Good old boy town. You want to be the first to have it and put it out there, you be the man. It's up to you. All right.
Dude, I don't know what that is. Like, I'm not a journalist. You know what I mean? Like, when stuff like that comes about and you start talking about you exposing people, like, that, I don't know what to do with that. Like, I've seen that stuff go way left for people in a hurry. People who have, like, the protection of news organizations and all this kind of stuff. I'm just me. I'm in here to talk sports and be silly and dumb a couple times a week, and man, talking about exposing government officials for dope and drugs and stuff that I have no idea of how to vet things, and because that's the type of stuff that goes into that. You gotta like vet things to make sure that they're accurate before you report them and all this kind of stuff, man. Because then you leave yourself open to like liable suits and people suing you. Yeah, that was like the weirdest thing ever, man. Like, if y'all listen to this, if y'all just heard that, and if you listen to this on the podcast or whatever, hit me on Twitter at One Mike with Big Mike on Twitter, Instagram. Let me know what you think, man. Not if I should do something with it, because I definitely know I shouldn't. Like, I have no skin in the game. I don't have enough skin in no game. Like, this is stuff for like Monica Kaufman and Jovita Moore, the people who like we ask the hard questions. This is for them. Like, this is the type of stuff that they get, like, today, and then we'll have a report on it, like, in 6 months, after they've gone through all the evidence and all the crazy stuff. I don't have that time. I don't have that effort. I don't have those resources, my man. If you listening, B, I don't know what to tell you, man. I hate that for you, that, somebody railroading you like that and is going to those type of lengths, but I wish I could help you. Yeah, you're right. If all that stuff is going down like that, that would be a little bit of a lick, but I don't know what the hell to do with that at all. So yeah, there's that, man. Like, y'all can chime in on it. If you're listening live or you're listening on demand, if you see me on Facebook right now, let me know. That's some of the weirdest things ever. Couple things before we get up out of here. The Hawks, I think I mentioned this already, reportedly had Dwight Howard on the trading block to the New Orleans Pelicans. I think Anthony Davis just got hurt again the other day. So that's happening. Oh, the game on Monday. God, the Cavs got it pushed all the way in by the Warriors. Man, I was reading this article today about the Warriors and where they at defensively. They're like 1 defensively and 2 offensively. That's ridiculous. Only one other team's in the top 5. That's the Spurs. And the Spurs ain't the Warriors. Let's just keep that real. I mean, they beat them pretty bad the opening night of the season. But this team is morphed into some other stuff right now. Draymond and the defense being led by Draymond and KD. Like, I don't think people really want to admit to themselves, KD is 7 feet tall, man, and lanky as hell and long as hell, man. He's taller than Dwight Howard, the guy who plays center here in my city of Atlanta. Obviously not as bulky and physical. He's a true 7-footer, and now he's doing what they do over there in Oakland. That principle of verticality, just going straight up and getting. He got a block on LeBron the other day that was so sweet. LeBron's all on the ground. LeBron's another thing too. Like, LeBron's doing that. He's doing that extra stuff, that acting stuff, and I understand why. And also, I can understand why the people who don't like LeBron are on him about it. But he's already complained about now. He did the Cam Newton. He said he understands why he's not getting calls or whatever. And so now he's going like out of his way to be more like being very, very extra about the situation. Speaking of LeBron, Nike has announced that there will be no more sleeved jerseys. Nike, LeBron, $500 million contract. LeBron is known Everybody remember LeBron tearing the sleeves off the jersey or whatever, then apologizing later. Well, now Nike has said Nike has the contract now for the NFL or for the NBA. No more sleeves on the jerseys. I'm sure you guys can connect the dots. And then there's this thing with Phil Jackson. And I don't care about him talking about Carmelo or whatever. They're a bad basketball team. Carmelo he's very much on the downside of his career. He was one of the best, most creative scorers in the NBA for a very long time. But of course, all things come to an end. But the thing I wonder about Phil Jackson, I may carry this over till the Friday show and put it on the poll. Are we at a point where the perception of who Phil Jackson is and was has changed? Like, he's gone from being this Zen master, this coach that could like mind F you, to now kind of being a coward. Like, doing all these things subliminally and talking about people, when you're not there to face the music as a coach, and leaving Carmelo to answer all these questions about things that he's done, like things that we may have given him credit for back in the day. Motivationally, getting under a player's skin like Michael Jordan to fuel his fire a little bit more, not being in touch with the new age athlete and understand that ain't how I play. These dudes are businessmen and they're about their business and about their brands and all this kind of stuff. So when you start trying to taint them, you're tainting their money in a sense, and who they are as a person. And cats just ain't really having that. That stuff with LeBron and all that, I didn't think it was a big deal at all. Posse is racist. Since when? Sir Mix-a-Lot? Let's get him on the line and see what he thinks about that. Nah. But it's a much more sensitive crowd that don't get motivated by that kind of stuff. Phil Jackson lived for a while off of those championships he won with the Bulls and the Lakers and the respect that came with him, rightfully so. But I don't think now, the players now, they're not really respecting that. Like, you're not some sort of basketball god to them. The money is the god, the money and the power. And as I talked to my man Jovan Buha about a couple of weeks ago, there's a changing of the guard, and there's certain people, the Pat Rileys of the world and the George Karls of the world and the Phil Jacksons of the world that are going to try to hold on to what little bit of I don't know, of glow that they have from their glory days. Like, they got to be pissed off guys like Boogie, that don't give a damn, but it's like extremely, extremely talented. Yeah, that's got to piss people off. But at the end of the day, this dude ain't not carjacking nobody. He ain't out, as far as we know, raping no bras, none of that stuff. He just get mad on the basketball court. Deal with it, because he's the best player on the team, and he knows it, and he knows you're not going to do nothing about it. That's what's called power. Y'all not used to a dude like that having it. And he may not even be used to having it, but he don't care, because he's going to exercise it. Anyway, man, we done. We're over the hump here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Appreciate you. I am No Dose. Appreciate you. Big L. I see some people checked in on the Facebook situation. Sorry I didn't get to it early enough here. Maybe I can right now. Shoot. It just went away that quick. Okay, either way, we'll come back on Friday. Try to have some guests for you guys so you don't have to be bored with checking me out and dealing with me this whole damn time. It is the One Mic with Big Mike show. Had a brain fart there. On Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in. One Mic with Big Mike.com. iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. You can get the show on demand and every show on demand on all of those outlets. And make sure you guys are following me or liking my Facebook page, One Mic with Big Mike. Following me on Twitter and Instagram at One Mic with Big Mike. And until Friday, you guys hold it down. Be safe. Just enjoy. If you're in Atlanta, man, enjoy this warm weather. It's going to be a little rainy, but it's still going to be pretty nice outside. So enjoy it. And until Friday, man, you guys be good.